Welcome back, Be Better Tribe. This is your host, Julian Alvarez. Again, this is a podcast where we explore leadership journeys, stories, and lessons that we've learned along the way. We share it with this audience so that you can maybe take away a couple pieces that might help you in your career, life, family, whatever that may be. This is a solo episode. It'll be a bit of a quick hitter, but I'm really passionate about this topic because I think it's so important for everyone, whether that is somebody that's really early in their career transition, having a tough time, wherever you may be in your career. I really do think this is going to be important for you. And what we're going to focus on right now is getting promoted. And the reason why I want to talk about this is in my line of work, I'm a sales development leader. I've been doing this for, over a decade. And I've been in sales and sales leadership for close to 15, 16 years. And I was also in recruiting. And so I think with that blend of experience and being in the tech industry for that long, I've seen a ton of different individuals get promoted. One of the key elements of my career and my role is to actually get individuals on my team promoted to the next level, which is actually really inspiring. It's one of the reasons why I love sales dev, is because I get the opportunity to work with individuals, to coach, train, develop, and then see them go into the next roles. And those next roles, what's really exciting is I've had individuals that I've managed and coached and developed who are now leading go-to-market organizations. I've been able to see them go run enterprise sales at amazing companies. And it's such a great way to reflect back on your career and to see that impact. And so that I wanted to share stories and lessons and things that I've discussed with those individuals on what they should focus on and how to really create the career that they want. Now with sales, I don't want to beat around the bush. There is an element of a quota and a target that you need to hit. And so with that, it becomes pretty black and white in terms of how well you're doing and how many areas of opportunity you have to get better. Because ultimately there is a scorecard. But even if you're not in sales, I do think it's our own responsibility to really understand what good work looks like and make sure that the work that you put out, the brand that you build, is one of those top performing individuals. Because what I always like to tell people is there's always going to be opportunity to grow, and there's always going to be opportunity for you to take that next step. Now, it might not be in the timeline that you want. It might not be in the current scenario. It might not be the current company that you're in. However, if you're doing really great work, what I've seen is the opportunities start to open up. The doors start to open. And I'm going to kind of walk you through the basis of why I think that happens. So the first thing, the baseline of all of these recommendations and the 5 key things that I think individuals need to focus on is this one statement. In order for you to get promoted, there's 2 things that you really need to check off. Number 1 is you need to be the best in your role. And number 2, you have to build your brand. And so with those 2 things, I think I want to, before I dive into the techniques or things that you need to focus on, is what that means. And so again, be the best. I think that's a pretty simple statement. So when I think about that, it is you are producing the most results, you're producing great work, and the people around you are noticing that because they're adding more responsibility onto your plate. They're going to you for advice, and you kind of are becoming that thought leader. And so whether that is you hitting your quota and going above and beyond, or if you're a project manager, a marketing individual, if you're in human resources or in talent acquisition and recruiting, whatever the case may be, it's that concept of you are just doing really good work. You are available, you are showing up early, you are answering questions, you're becoming really knowledgeable, you're taking on different challenges, and you're curious and learning more. And then the second thing is you're building your brand. You're in the individual where you're on Slack, you're connecting with other people, where Slack or Teams, you're chatting with individuals, maybe not even in your current area of expertise, but you're talking to individuals in your company about the product, about what they're currently doing. And you just have this curiosity where you're building your brand amongst your teams, and you are if you're in office, if you're hybrid, you're the individual that's connecting with others, you're talking to individuals, you're building those connections and relationships. A lot of the conversations that we've had earlier, especially with the individuals that I've had on the podcast, a key element is your network. And what I loved about the last conversation that I had with Matt Roberts is he made a statement about your network. Your network is your net worth. And so that is such a key element. And I do think your network is built off of how you build your brand amongst your company. And it's a funny thing is because I often say this to my team is your coworkers and the people that you work alongside in the current company that you're in are probably going to be the individuals that are going to have to refer you or help you along the way of like, hey, they went to this company, they're looking for a certain individual and you fit that bill. They'll reach out to you. And, it's funny enough for my career, there's a lot of that happening where majority of the roles that I've received in the companies that I've worked for, there is at least 2 to 3 connections in those companies that if I wasn't building my brand or if I didn't do good work, they probably wouldn't have referred me in. And so that's just one of the things to think about. And so as we go into this topic and as we dive in deeper, I want to make sure that we root that in the 2 things: be the best and build your brand. So again, be the best and build your brand. All right. So the first thing I'm going to say about being promoted and how to get promoted is actually kind of a little bit different. It might not be something that you think about, but I do really encourage you to start as you are thinking about a promotion. And the first thing is choose wisely. Like, what the heck does that mean? Like, choose wisely? Like, how is that connected to career path? And so I actually think it's one of the most important things. And what I mean by choose wisely is you have to be very intentional with the roles that you take. And I'm not saying you need to wait for the perfect exact role to open up because that will not happen. You need to be willing to go into a role, work your tail off, and then get promoted. But what's really important is choosing the right company, the right leader, and the right role. So what I mean by that is when you're thinking about a company that you want to join, there's a couple of things that you need to make sure that you're choosing in regards to that. One, the product that you're joining is exciting, it's growing, it's a product that is solving a real need, and it's something that you really get behind and you're really curious about that product. Number 2 is the leader that you're going to be working for. Does that leader have a career? Does that leader have the receipts for promotions that they've done within their company and their business? And so when you're choosing to be on somebody's team, you want to join a leader that has that track record of promoting individuals. And how do you actually understand if that actually happens? Well, do some digging. Who has been on their team? Do some reference calls, get to connect with the team, ask them in the interview process. Can you walk me through the promotion path and how many people you've promoted in the last 2 years at this company, and whatever the case may be? And then the third, a part of choosing wisely is the actual company and their trajectory of promotion. And so for example, you want to know if you're going in to be an SDR in a company, ask the leadership team, how many SDRs were promoted this past quarter, this past half year, and this past full year? Is that career path successful? When the SDR gets promoted to an AE within that role, how successful are they in that AE role? And so that goes for any type of role, though. It's like, is there proof in the pudding? Is there actually a career path? Is there a rubric for evaluating talent? Are there elements of a career path when they're within their company? Do they have levels for roles? How do you get to the next level? What is the evaluation process of getting to the next level? And so all those questions are necessary. And now what I will say, the smaller the company, more likely the less nuance. There's going to be a lot less structure. So you might have the ability to get promoted quickly. However, the risk is if the business doesn't take off, those opportunities might not come to fruition. With a bigger company, you're going to have a lot more structure. You're going to have a lot more ability to get promoted quickly. However, usually there's like every year they look to promote or every 6 months. And so the likelihood to get promoted quickly isn't as likely, but there's going to be more structure. So ask yourself, what do you fit better? Where do you like to work? If you like more structure, I'd go bigger. If you like more, less structure and more the ability to grow quickly, I suggest you go a little quicker. However, let me reframe. If you like less structure and you like the ability to grow quicker, go a little bit smaller. But again, rooted in the product that you're selling or the product that you're joining and the leader that you're going to be working for. Make sure that leader has a proven track record. Make sure you at least have one conversation with an individual that has worked with that leader before. Go to their LinkedIn. Do they have any recommendations? Go to that recommendation person and ask them if like they would work for them again and all those types of questions. Number 2 is own your career. Here's something that I often see, especially for individuals just joining a company. They put a lot of the pressure and onus on the manager and the company. You need to promote me. You need to own my career path. You need to unlock these doors. No, that is not the right thing to do. You have all the responsibility for your career. Do not put that on anyone else. You need to ask for feedback. You need to seek opportunities and assignments that are going to stretch you. You need to start building skills for the next role, finding mentors, raising your hand for opportunities, and you need to work your tail off. And so like whenever I talk about career pathing and getting promoted, you need to own it, not your manager, not anyone else. It is your career. And so you be the one that takes on that responsibility. Because again, I think it's connected to the first statement that I made, to choose wisely. If you chose a company that doesn't promote people, that is on you. So be very intentional with what you choose and then take the ownership of owning your career. All right, number 3. This is important because I think it relates to your network. And so you need to build your brand beyond your immediate team. So what I mean by that is if you're in marketing, build your brand with sales, build it with customer success, with account management, build it with the leadership team, build it with whoever. So always build your brand because networking outside of your direct team is absolutely crucial when it comes to building out your scope. And so help others outside of your normal day to day. That could be, helping somebody with content, helping someone with a visual if you're a graphic designer. It could be, if you're technical, it could be helping someone with a technical challenge that is not in your scope, but it really helps you build that brand. Because building your brand and having individuals that are like, wow, yeah, they have helped me out, that are outside of your scope, can do transformational things for you. And again, the more quality work that you do, the bigger brands the better a brand that you build across your organization is really going to be what separates you from other candidates or other people that are just good at their role. And so that really, to me, shows that you're a good teammate. So number 1, choose wisely. Number 2, be the owner of your career. Number 3, build your brand outside of just your team. Because if you're building your brand amongst your team, you're probably just a really good top performer. And that's great. And that probably will get you promoted. Top people in their current roles usually always get promoted. But this one, I think, is a little bit of a bigger impact that you can make for the company. This is where you start to kind of accelerate your career even more. And then number 4, which is a really simple one, which a lot of individuals say, is start operating at the next level before you get there. So start doing the role. And this is where I think you really have chosen wisely, because you picked a leader that can actually outline what that looks like. You can start to think about, okay, if you're in a sales team, are you listening to calls that your AE does down funnel that you don't really do, but you want to start learning and listening? Are you in a certain segment? So let's call it you're in the mid-market segment, but you want to become an enterprise seller in the future. Start to listen to some of those calls. Start to ask questions from the enterprise leaders and start to read and be curious and listen to sales books, sales podcasts, and to really own that. And this goes the same with any role that you have. If you're a graphic designer and you want to be a CMO someday, start to understand what is lead generation, then what is website design, what is website visits to actual form fills. So all of those different things, you start operating at the next level and you start to be curious, asking questions, and start solving some of those problems. What I would say is start operating at the next level. There are going to be restrictions there. You can't just do the next role, but you can start to practice the next role by asking questions and being curious. What I do want to be cautious here is don't just say that you want this and then never take action, or don't just be overly ambitious here and every week ask you're a leader about what things that you can do. What I would suggest is you go deep in the path that they give you. So if they tell you to do certain things, do those and then do a couple extra on top of that so you can really master it. One of the biggest career deterrence for a promotion is somebody that just continues to ask for a promotion, is that squeaky wheel, but actually doesn't put in the work. And that's where I think it's really frustrating, where if you go back to own your own career, you need to own it, do what you say, but then start operating at the next level by showcasing that you are getting better at what you do. And the last one as we wrap up here is be undeniably great at your current role. I think there's nothing better than for a top performer. If you want to get promoted, companies are promoting top performing people always. So be the best in the role that you're currently in with no excuses, no exceptions. So whether that's if you're a technical individual or sales professional or whatever role that you're in, be the best. So if you're in talent, you have the most hires. If you're most hires, best hires. If you're in sales development, you hit your KPIs, you're the best at your KPIs and you're best at building pipeline. Your AEs are giving you raving reviews and they don't want to lose you as a partner. Your marketing, you're doing unique things that is changing the game and you're putting out a lot of quality work and there's cross-functional teams that are talking about your work and you're starting to get recognized amongst your company as an individual that's doing just phenomenal work. And so with that said, be undeniably great at your current role because that is going to be like the checkbox that you have to do in order to get promoted. So again, let me go ahead and wrap up here. Number one, choose wisely. Choose the company, the leader, and the product that you're passionate about. You need to own your career. There's no one else responsible for this but you. You need to build your brand beyond your team. You need to start operating at the next level and take on additional responsibilities and start doing that role and being curious about the next skill sets that you're going to need. And then ultimately, it all comes down to you got to be great at what you do. You have to be really, really good. And if those 5 things aren't aligned, if those things aren't matched up to what you're currently at, there's that courage that you need to make a change. And that is a different topic, but something you need to think about. But if you're joining a company, if you're in a current role, and if you're trying to get promoted and get progress in your career, those 5 things I really think have shaped how I think about my career, how I think about coaching and developing individuals, and what I've seen individuals do to be very, very successful. All right. Well, if you enjoyed the podcast, thank you so much. Go to Spotify, go to Apple. I'd love some reviews. Love those 5 stars. And if you can like, comment, and subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you think this podcast would be beneficial for individuals, please share it. I hope that you're finding happiness and you're finding some keys to success here. And then the second thing is, the last thing is you can visit BeBetterTribe.com. There's some gear up there as well as a weekly planner that I think could really help, especially for career pathing, especially for keeping track of what you want to do. So with that said, always show up, stay consistent, and don't forget to be better. Thanks so much, Tribe. Take care.